Apparently you guys are interested in my room. I don't know why. I don't got nothing interesting about me, as you can see. But we're gonna do a room tour today. Before we start this video, look around with me, okay? Look at the room, all right? There's a lot of stuff here and a lot of stuff you can't see off camera, okay? I've always admitted I am a collector of a lot of things, and I know on this channel we've talked about overconsumption and as collectors buying things intentionally from fandoms and different like pieces of media that we like. We've talked about it, okay? So I just want it to be transparent. I'm gonna say 3 things. This stuff that I've gotten, the stuff I've got in my room here, has been on stupid debt, okay, at some point, has been things that I've intentionally bought, have been things that I have planned for, okay, and things that I can afford, and, you know, things that have been collected over time, okay? I'll say that for majority of my stuff, it's been collected over time, over the years. I want to be transparent about that so nobody's sitting here thinking, oh, her collection's so big, she got this overnight, how does she, and, oh, you talk about overconsumption and this and that. Whoa, babes. I was never lying when I said I'm a collector and I like a lot of things. I just think about being more intentional with this type of stuff. And I think we're able to grow and learn about things that we may not need and some things that we want, and, you know, learning to buy more intentionally, okay? I never want to act on this page like I am like holier than thou, okay? I just want to be transparent about that so nobody's picking and prodding like, ooh, when did you buy this? Listen. I also want to say some of this stuff does consist of Nintendo related stuff, okay? I know that I've said 100 times over that I'm not buying the Switch 2. I have no desire to. I don't feel like I just don't like the direction Nintendo is going right now, okay? But I do think it's worth pointing out that I have bought Pokemon cards, as you can see on the display right here. I bought Pokemon cards, okay? I've been keeping up with the releases. I would be lying if I said I wasn't interested, okay? I'm not about to act like holier than that, right? And a comment was brought up to me, and I hope they don't mind me mentioning it, but in regards to how I can still engage with like the merch and stuff like that if I'm highly upset about like what Nintendo's doing and whatnot else, and I'm not buying the Switch 2, or at least participating in that specific boycott, but not boycotting the merch and obviously the things that lead up to them making their games. And they had every right to call me out on that. Like, I think that is a hypocrisy that needs to be addressed. So I'm doing that here, okay? I'm not a perfect human being, okay? Look, Mega Charizard, come on. So I don't want to act like I'm above that. For now, in my life, now what I'm doing is I'm just collecting cards secondhand after being made aware of this fact and this little hypocrisy of mine. I've been just buying cards secondhand, merch secondhand, whatnot. Still collecting from certain companies that I will still criticize and stuff like that, but specifically for Nintendo, it's mainly just being secondhand now. At least until that they can get their act straight and whatnot else. If I do show you some stuff, this is, again, stuff that I've gotten before making that decision to just stray away from just getting my merch secondhand from Nintendo. So if you see something, you know. With that being said, let's get to the room tour. So the reason I'm calling this a room tour-ish is because I'm not going to go around with my phone, like recording like all of like my shelves and whatnot else in my room and stuff like that. I'm sorry if that's what you were expecting. Okay, yes, boo me later. I know. But what I did was basically take a bunch of pictures of certain places in my room that I feel like are the most interesting and I can maybe ramble about. And I'll just be putting the pictures up on the screen and looking at my phone while I explain all these pictures to you, just for practicality's sake. And then also, love y'all, but some people are crazy, okay? I realized that people could probably tell the layout of my room, but I don't think it's the smartest idea to like record all of it in one sitting and see like different angles of my room. You get it. It's a little bit of a safety concern. So hope you're not too disappointed, but I think the first thing we're going to start off with is this shelf back here. As you can notice, I have a bunch of dolls. These are pretty much all the dolls that I'd like to have on display. I have like maybe 2 more in my closet. I have like a Laguna Gen 1 reproduction doll on the top shelf. And then also I think it's like a Chloe reproduction doll of like the first Bratz dolls, that line. I grew up with Bratz and I grew up with Monster High as a kid. My parents, I don't know. A lot of people can argue that like Bratz is kind of inappropriate for like, you know, like kind of more like younger girls and stuff like that, which, you know, there's an argument to that, but personally, my parents were okay with it. So that's what I grew up with. I watched the movies, I collected the dolls, like, I loved the media, everything. So, in spirit, I think I'm a brat, okay? Like, whenever somebody's like, oh, you're such a brat, like, you're so spoiled, like, you're so ungrateful. How did you know? Like, I think it's kind of funny whenever somebody calls me that. So, because I love brats. I thought it was really cool growing up. I was a Barbie. I liked Barbie, you know? I still love Barbie, but something about brats. But I think a tier higher from brats for me was Monster High. And, I grew up with quite a few dolls in Monster High. I will say that, like, one of my favorite, Monster High doll growing up was Laguna. I love Laguna so much. I feel like even the hair, is the hair giving that? Like, I loved her style so much. I liked her hair. And I just liked everything about her. She's just so chill and, like, you know, she's kind of like a hippie. So I wanted to radiate that as much as possible as a kid, but I was awkward and weird. So I think my parents, the first Monster High doll I got was Frankie Stein, because that's who my parents are reminded of when they think of me. So I'm just kind of, I was like, dang, I don't think I'm like a Frankie Stein or whatever, but, like, you know, I guess people see me as that. And then what's crazy is I grew up and now I'm kind of a Draculaura. I'm a Draculaura kind of girl. Like, I always knew Draculaura was there. She's cute. She's pink and girly. Maybe I kind of liked Laguna at the time because she was tomboyish, and growing up I did like the color pink. But, you know, when you get in your teens, you get into that, like, when you're growing up into your teens and, you know, your middle school, adolescence, sometimes you, like, girls have this, like, little phase in their life where they're like, I'm not like other girls. I don't like pink, yada, yada, yada. Like, you know, I feel like we all kind of go through that little phase of thinking that we're better than other girls simply because, like, you know, like, they like pink and, like, you know, I'm different. When in reality, you can like all these things. You can be a little boyish and still like the color pink, like, you know, or, like, you can be more like more masculine things and still like girly things. Like, those two things can coexist. Like, you know, it's okay. It's okay. So, I think I grew up a little bit and I started to have more an appreciation for Draculaura. And I did have a Draculaura doll growing up, but it wasn't my main thing. So, I had all those dolls kind of growing up. I probably will make a video on Monster High at some point, talking about just the whole wave of, like, people not liking Gen 3 and, like, getting super angry about the whole thing, but that's a story for another day. If we're talking about brats in particular, who my parents thought I was growing up, and the dolls that I got the most was Yasmin, and I think it's because Yasmin's, you know, like, a little bit more timid. You know, they call her Pretty Princess. She's polite, she's super kind, but she's a little more on the timid side. But when she's with her friends, she's so outgoing and whatnot else. And versus the way I present myself on here, I feel like that's kind of my personality, so I can understand why they put me with her. But my favorite growing up was Jade. I loved myself some Jade. So, but I still have appreciation for Yasmin, and I will still, you know, I will pick up a Yasmin doll once in a blue moon. I grew up with Bratz babies. That's why I have those two twins there. I talked about it in my scalpers video. I still want to get some of my older Bratz babies. That would be kind of cool. I don't know if I would consider myself, like, a crazy doll collector. Like, I'm not going to go out and, like, buy every single doll just for the sake of it. Like, I know everybody else is, like, collectors out there that like completing sets and, like, new releases. I'm kind of one of those where if it looks good enough and I would like that on my shelf, I'm going to probably get it. But usually I'm after dolls that I had in my childhood. Like, there's a list of dolls I'd like to have, and with them reproducing, like, a lot of the older dolls, because Bratz is growing up with the same generation that were raised by Bratz. So, you know, I think it would be a kind of a cool opportunity to just collect them just for nostalgia's sake. A lot of this stuff is nostalgia's sake. So, dang, I scratched my lip. That hurt. But yeah, that's my first shelf. If we have any more questions about doll collecting and my own individual opinions, let me know if you want a video on that. Especially if I go over, like, a lot of this stuff in my room. Like, let me know if you'd like a video on me talking about these things individually and my hot takes about it or something like that. So yeah. Oh, one more thing to mention. So that little doll that you see right there is actually just from a blind box. It is a Gyaru. I have recently been getting into Gyaru makeup and fashion. I really hope that I'm not butchering the pronunciation. I'm really going to try to work on that. But I've been learning a little bit about that subculture and the sub-styles within it. So I think that's been, like, a really fun experience, just doing the makeup, kind of looking at the clothes a little bit, and just learning a little bit about the history. So that's been really fun. I'm a baby gal, so I am not, like, anyway, like, I guess, like, very educated on this stuff. Like, I'm still learning and stuff like that. If any of you guys are gals as well, let me know and tell me, like, what you did, like, what brands you went after and stuff like that in terms of, like, your fashion, or, like, even doing makeup, lashes, whatever, like, things that you've kind of learned about the community. I know that some parts are a little bit toxic, but, you know, we gonna gloss over that. But if you are a gal, you know, just let me know. Now moving on to the second tier of my shelf, which is split up into Pokemon, Sonic, I have a picture of Princess Peach, and then also Cult of the Lamb, a little portrait. We talked about Pokemon a couple times on this channel in regards to Pokemon cards mainly. We haven't talked about the games, which I will do at some point. I know I am behind. But just to, I guess, talk about my shelf a little bit here. I've been into Pokemon since I was like 10, 11. I wasn't originally into it until I played Diamond and Pearl. Those were my two games that I had on deck on the DSi, and I loved it. I know that my family was into it at some point, and I was just like, I don't understand, like, Pokemon. I only know Pikachu. And then now I pretty much know any Pokemon you probably throw at me, except for the new gens. The new gens I'm a little rusty on, okay? Like, after playing, like, Gen 8, I was like, okay, we need to kind of roll it back a little bit. But I think I'm pretty knowledgeable on it and stuff like that. Played the best game in the series, Pokemon Black 2. Fight me, okay? I love that game. I love that series so much, and to see it falling from grace is a little bit disappointing. I'm not gonna lie, but you know, I'll still rep my Pokemon. I'll still rep my favorite Pokemon, which, if you don't know what they are, it is Keldeo and Oshawott, which is why you see those two little figures right there. I had them since I was a kid, love them to death. All of the Pokemon card slabs that you see in the back, I got either towards the beginning of this year or sort of sometime in the middle of the year, let's say like June, July. They are all of trainers that I absolutely love. I love Ayano, that's why you see two cards on the sides. And then I love, my favorite gym leader of all time is Elisa. I love Elisa to death. Like, she's just a diva. She's a diva. I want to cosplay her at some point, like, and I wish there was more merch of her. I get so upset thinking about that because I thought she was like one of the best gym leaders. Like, she ate. Like, I love her so much. So I get super happy whenever I see like some type of merch of her, or whenever somebody mentions her. That's why I have a PSA rated card of her, so I thought it would be really cool. And my opinion on PSA rated cards, I know I've talked about like the worth of cards before at some point, and listen, I understand like having a very strong point on stuff like that or whatever. But I do think that sometimes we can change our mind, okay? I'm not a perfect human being, and my thoughts at some point, I'm sure will change with time. But with PSA graded slabs in particular, I'm just iffy. I'm very iffy. When I spend on Pokemon cards, it's usually 100 or less. I feel like when we talk about cards that and their worth and like how, like, depending on how much they're graded and stuff like that, they're worth certain much. At some point, I feel like you're delusional. At some point, I feel like you're delusional. Like, I don't know. Like, when we talk about, like, base sets like that, like, you know, aren't in print anymore, like your first, like, Pokemon card base set, I feel like there might be merit to it. I think to a point, I don't know. I feel like to an extent, it gets ridiculous to me. That's why I said in my one scalper video that, like, that little maybe, like, chewed up Pokemon card that you got is not worth, like, all this money. And I still feel like that to an extent. But especially with like recent cards, I feel like I'm more hard on like, I'm gonna be more hard on like recent cards more than anything being like put at like $1,000. Who's spending $1,000 on an Umbreon? Who's doing that? Like, I don't know. But this is just me talking from somebody who only spends like $100 on getting Pokemon cards in general or less. I'm not gonna spend any more than that. So, when we talk about getting to the 200s, I love this hobby, but not enough. So, but that's just me. Tell me how you feel about graded cards. And then I also have a Lily right there. That is probably the most expensive card I've spent on, which again, 100 and below. So, I really like her. I think she's super cute. I got her for way less than what I think like the physical card actually is. Like, I think the physical card is going somewhere in like the 200s somewhere. It's kind of crazy. So I got it for like I feel like I got it for a pretty good deal, but I'm happy. I like her a lot and wouldn't trade her for the world. Now, if you look a little bit to the side, you're going to see two pop figures. It is Blaze the cat and Cream the rabbit. I like Sonic. I grew up on Sonic. What was my first Sonic game, you say? Game? If you know, you know. The Phantom was my first game. Okay, like, but if you're actually curious, growing up, I don't know if anybody's around my age, but like, I had something called a Leapster. Yeah, before you iPad kids, we had something called a Leapster, an educational video game. Okay. God, like, no, I'm just kidding. But basically it was like this little, tablet, not tablet, some of them had tablets, but like this little handheld thing that kind of looked like a single screen DS. And basically you got to play a bunch of games on them, and they were all educational, and my first Sonic game was Sonic X, and that's look, I don't like math. I still don't like math to this day. All right, put Sonic in it, of course I'm gonna learn. I will learn as long as I see Sonic's face, like. But that's what I grew up playing. And then I think my first like actual legitimate Sonic game was Sonic Rush Adventure for the DS. Did I finish it? No, but let's not talk about that. But it was like super fun. Again, like learned a bunch of lore just like from scrolling the internet way too much as a kid. But love Sonic. My favorite Sonic character is Shadow. Okay, yo, look. You had to be there. I love Shadow. I love Shadow so much. My first crush. my first crush. Love that hedgehog. And if we're gonna talk about like just my favorite character in general, it's Rouge. I love Rouge. Love Rouge to death. Blaze has a special place in my heart, okay? And I like Cream and I like Amy, but if we're gonna talk about top characters, it is Rouge. So yeah. As far as the Peach portrait, you're gonna see a little bit more Peach stuff later on in the video, but I like Princess Peach. I grew up with Princess Peach. It's hard. It's really hard picking between Daisy and Peach, because whenever my cousin would pick Peach on Mario Kart, right? I get pretty mad, but then I was like, oh, I can do Daisy, but I love Daisy, okay? I like Daisy. I do like Daisy a lot, but like I would gravitate and I'd be like, but I wanted Peach though, because pink and yeah and whatever, like, right? So I kind of grew up and I was like, you know, like I still like Daisy. I still have an appreciation for Daisy. Still love her. Still a queen. Still a diva. But my childhood clinging on that pink clinging on to my shoulder and being like, dude, you never left. You still like pink. So I will forever like Peach. I love Daisy though. I do love Daisy. Rosalina? You're crunchy if you like Rosalina. But I like all three of them. I like all three of them, but I do have a little bit of a Peach bias. As far as Mario or Luigi, I like Luigi better. So I'm kind of one of those. I prefer a Luigi, but I do like Peach. So I don't know. I think that's kind of a fun fact. Cult of the Lamb. I don't have much to say on it because I'm not finished yet, but I love Cult of the Lamb. Super fun. Definitely a me game. It's just cozy. For a dark game running a cult, it's crazy. I know you... Random. Okay. Get the kids out the room. All right. Low-key, it would be kind of nice if the cult leader themselves could do a little bit of hanky-panky. I know there's a DLC that you can do it. Why? I know that's random, but it just came to mind and I thought it was funny to mention. I understand that the villagers themselves can do like hanky-panky, the cult members, but you can't yourself. And I'm like, why not though? I don't know. It's funny. I thought it was funny, but I like Cult of the Lamb. It's super fun. Fishing, fighting, having a cult, having somebody say that they want to eat poop. I don't know. It's funny. It's funny. I like it a lot. And it comes with a lot of DLC. I would totally recommend it. Play Cult of the Lamb. So we're going to skip down to the bottom shelf, which has more gaming related stuff. So as you can see, I have a bunch of amiibos, and most of them consist of Animal Crossing ones, because at the time, I think it was in Animal Crossing New Leaf, you could have like a little NFC reader like in your new 3DS, or you have like a little separate disc for a regular 3DS. Or platform, and basically you would scan the amiibo and the villager would come into like your town like in a little camper, and you could get like, I believe, like furniture and clothing from them and like speak to them and stuff like that, and then like also like NFC cards as well. But that was pretty much kind of the only purpose for me getting those types of amiibos. And then I think it was the 2 Splatoon ones in the back. I like Marie, so I thought it would be cool to have. The only other reason I can say for like getting amiibos is just for display. That's about it. Or if you're playing Smash and you want to have like, you know, a character with like customized stats or something, I believe. But otherwise, I don't really see a reason to get amiibos. I don't have, I can't remember the last time I've gotten an amiibo. Like, I feel like they're kind of useless otherwise. Like, I don't know. The little band that you see at the top is from Super Nintendo World. It's a Peach-related one. This was a trip that was funded by my family. I got to go this year. How I felt about Super Nintendo World? maybe that's for another video. I don't know. If you really want my opinion on it, I'll give it. But like, it was alright. It's like 3 rides. I only went on 2, and it's small. It's a lot smaller than people make it out to be. So beside that, I have a couple of Omori figures because I like the game Omori. Unfortunately, I feel like I had a bet. I like the story. I think the story's fine. I had a better time playing the RPG in general in the real world, like in their real world, than I did the dream world, or like Headspace is what it's called. I hate that. Because the way that the game got promoted was like Headspace is like, and it is kind of expansive, but it feels very drawn out. And I know some people like to argue that like, oh, it's drawn out because, you know, Sonny's not trying to like face the repercussions of like what he's done and stuff like that, which you could argue that, but just gameplay wise, if we're talking about gameplay wise, it's not fitting the purpose that it needs to. I at least feel like that. I had a lot more fun with just the real world in general, and that's very limited, I will say. But the reason I still get Omori merch is because I love the characters a lot. My favorite character is Aubrey. So yeah, just in case you wanted to know. Beside the Omori figures, I have 2 figures of Ramona Flowers from the series Scott Pilgrim. I like Ramona because I think she's a little bit relatable, and I also like her fashion sense. Fun fact, when I was dyeing my hair bleach blonde right here, I was a little bit afraid that it was gonna turn out kind of weird, and I was like, ooh, I don't know how that's gonna look with teal. But then I saw that there was a little screenshot of Ramona Flowers dyeing her hair in the new anime. Still haven't watched it, okay, don't get on me, but I saw it and I was like, you know what, I feel a little bit more confident, and I've dyed my hair a couple of different colors that have been Ramona related. So I find it funny how, I don't know, I just find it funny. And then right in front of those figures, I have a little mini figure that I painted of Ness from Earthbound. I've never played Earthbound. However, I do like Ness because of Smash Bros. Brawl and his relationship to Lucas. I thought it was like super cute. So that's why I do like Ness. I painted this myself. Fun fact, I do a little bit of like art and stuff like that. I don't know. I don't think I'm like, you know, big and mighty about that. I just kind of do it just for the sake of it. I've been drawing since I was a kid, like, and self-taught or whatever, but I don't know. I guess I don't think of what I do as like incredibly insane or whatever. If you guys want to like see some of my art, I'm totally willing to share it. You know, I like painting jackets and apparel. I started doing that when I was in college. I'm gonna have to continue this with the lights off, so bear with me. But the only digital art that I meant to say, the only digital art that I do is pixel art. I love pixel art a lot. And one thing that I thought was kind of nice is people noticed that like whenever I changed my hair, I also changed my little avatar. Fun fact, I do this. Nobody does it for me. I do this. So I do like doing pixel art. Still very much a noob, but it's fun, and that's pretty much the only digital art I can do. Unfortunately, I do want to get into other mediums and whatnot else, especially doing just regular digital art, you know, with the little pen. I love seeing, so I have so much inspiration from other people, and it sucks because I'm traditional. I do with pencil, and I always want to upload my stuff and like, you know, show it, like let it be out there and exist. But everybody's digital, and I don't. I'm sorry, I'm traditional. I don't do none of that fancy stuff. So I'm just kidding, but I'm very much jealous. But maybe in the new year I can do it. So, and if we go one level above, we have a bunch of Kuromi and My Melody figures. I love Hello Kitty to death. Okay, that will always be my shade love first and foremost, because I grew up with Hello Kitty. Stationery pencils is what I had. Like, even my room at one point had like a bunch of like Hello Kitty stickers around it and stuff like that, and look, nothing's changed. But you know, I absolutely love Hello Kitty, and that's probably most of what you're gonna see in my room anyway, is just Sanrio related stuff, because that's how ingrained it is into my psyche. But I love Hello Kitty so much, but My Melody and Kuromi will forever and foremost be my favorite characters. Second to that, I believe, is Cinnamon Roll. I like Cinnamon Roll a lot. If you've ever read the manga Fluffy Cinnamon Roll, you a diva. I like you. But I love that. I love Hello Kitty and just all of the characters within the Sanrio universe. Pretty much mention one, I will most likely know it and be able to give you one fun fact about them. Like, that's how deep it runs. That's how deep it runs in my veins. A lot of these figures you see on this shelf are blind boxes. Okay, like Miniso had a chokehold on me for a little bit. I haven't added to it recently, but I feel like the figures I have on here is not like enough for right now. Like I feel like it's really cute and I don't have anywhere else to put it. So not gonna overconsume and like buy a whole bunch of new ones and whatnot else. I've been really trying to stray away from blind boxes, really, or just buy the ones that I want outright. You know, gambling. If you've ever looked off to the side on my bed, you will see that there are a couple of plushies, but guess what? Off camera, there's a bunch more. So I have been collecting plushies since I was obviously a kid. Do I got a problem? Maybe, but we won't talk about that today, okay? That's what therapy's for. But I like these plushies. Like, I love my plushies so much. I have no desire to get rid of them anytime soon or anything like that. All from a bunch of different franchises, as you can see, mainly Sanrio, okay? The most plushies, or I'm sure the theme you're going to probably see is it's Build-A-Bear, okay? I've been going to Build-A-Bear since I was a little kid. Oh my gosh, she's probably up there. But my first ever Build-A-Bear was a little pink poodle, like white and pink. And her name was Fluffy, and I still have her to this day. She doesn't have her original clothes, I don't think, but I still have her to this day. I collected Build-A-Bear like throughout the years, like every time there was a release or something like that. Like I'd get like the little mail-in thing, like the little pamphlet, and I'd flip through it to see which ones that I wanted. Like when I tell you I was invested as a kid. Like I've had pretty much all of them that I wanted. I got like when Hello Kitty first got announced, like the first ones, like I was on it. I wanted the Hello Kitty. It was a really fun time from what I remember, like circling the ones that I wanted. Like if I can name like a few off the top of my head from collabs, the main one I can think of is, you know, those original Hello Kitty Sanrio Build-A-Bears that got released like back in like 2008, 2007. I had one. I obviously had the Hello Kitty, but I have my Melody, and I still have her to this day. And now people are running other people's pockets. The scalpers are running people's pockets and paying like 200 plus. Baby, that was my Christmas gift. So I remember my aunt got it for me. I was so happy, and like I had like a really big affinity for my Melody as like growing up as a kid. Such good collabs with Build-A-Bear, and now it's kind of now I feel like it's falling a little bit into overconsumption, obviously, with especially with Sanrio releases. Like I remember when the Sanrio stuff first got released, and you know, it was a limited time thing. It makes it so much more special, I'm telling you. But we will, if you guys want a video on that, I'm so willing to talk about it. I might talk about it anyway, who knows. But that's like pretty much my plushies. I obviously have like Pokemon plushies over here. I have Shadow. I got him finally. Thank God he's not being scalped anymore. Just a bunch of other regular plushies, I'm sure, like giant ones, Pokemon ones. I like Kuma and Real Kuma a lot, so I have those plushies as well. I have plushies from more like niche kind of fandoms, like mouthwashing. I got Anya because I feel like she represents kind of a little bit of a part of me, so that's why I have her. But they all really mean a lot to me, and like each of them like holds like a core memory for me, I feel like. So especially like my older Build-A-Bears, like I feel like they have like really like strong holds. Like if I had to get rid of everything else in my room, like I feel like the one plushie that I would keep is my Melody one, because it meant so much to me when my aunt got me that, because I had begged and pleaded for that. Like it's just, oh my gosh, it warms my heart. What's really funny is sometimes when I'll post a video related to something specific, like Pokemon, or we're talking about Nintendo specifically, or Sanrio, something along those lines, what I find really funny is when you guys comment like below, you're like, oh, like I can't relate to this in the terms of like talking about like Nintendo, but I can talk about this with PS5, or like, you know, oh, I can't relate to like Pokemon, but I know in the anime sphere. And what's funny about that is, what's kind of funny is your girl is a multi-field kind of person, right? So if you don't know, I do watch anime. I think anime, I've been watching anime since I was like in middle school. So, and like manga, I think was even like younger. When I started reading manga, I think I was in like fourth or third grade, somewhere along those lines. But I was getting my introductions into anime with like Hatsune Miku. I feel like that's every kid's little entry point kind of into like anime and whatnot else, or anything related to kind of like Japanese culture. So I think it's kind of funny. So I have a bunch of figures, as you can see. I have a bunch of figures from animes that I really like, some that I need to finish. Okay, don't get on me just yet. Okay, One Piece. All right, but if I was just to go over a little bit of some of these, Panty and Stocking. I like Panty and Stocking. I think it's a funny show. Sailor Moon. I feel like that's like one of the first animes that any girl kind of watches. I was kind of like a Mew Mew power junkie before Sailor Moon actually, but then I got into Sailor Moon and I really like it. I still like this anime. I still like magical girl animes a lot, so you know. Madoka Magica was something that I watched this year actually, and I had been meaning to watch it, and I thought I was gonna like Madoka the most. And don't get me wrong, I do like Madoka. I think I want to cosplay her at some point, but I like Mami. I really like Mami, and I forgot that emo girl's name. I forgot her name, but I love her so much. She's my favorite character overall. She's my favorite character. Like, I like her so much. I forgot what her name is. I have a Nana figure. I watch Apothecary Diaries. Love Apothecary Diaries. Season 3 need to hurry up. I grew up watching My Little Pony. I know that's not particularly an anime, but they did come out with like a list of like anime figures and whatnot else. So one of them is I think it's a bootleg, but I thought that it was really cool that they had like My Little Pony anime figures specifically, and I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, I would like to get Fluttershy at one point, and then maybe kind of replace it with replace Pinkie Pie, but I don't know. I may keep them. I mean, I don't know just yet. One thing I will say about my collecting is, at least for now, a lot of the stuff that you see on this shelf I haven't really added. I think the most recent one was Mao Mao. I think that was the most recent one I added, which was like maybe 3 months ago that I added her. But one thing I've been like kind of reeling back on is getting anime figures just in general outright. Because I think a lot of the mistake people make sometimes is, in order to like get that sense that you're like a true fan of something, getting some type of merch to like represent it or something like that. And I've been like kind of falling into that trap a little bit with my collecting. I feel like sometimes is where I'm just like, oh, I really like this anime. Let me run to get something about it, or like whatever. And what I noticed about that is I'm just like, what? I don't need like a figure of like every single anime that I've ever watched or every single anime that I like. It's just, I feel like even for me, for somebody who gets a lot of stuff, right? Obviously, I feel like it gets to a point where I'm like, eh. So that's when I start kind of, again, like creating my specific list of specific characters that I want. And then I think to myself, okay, what can I replace, or like what can I sell off, or like what can I give to somebody else? Like that's when I kind of start thinking about those kinds of things. Like for instance, Pinkie Pie. I like Pinkie Pie. I think she's super cute, but I would more want Fluttershy because I feel like I relate to her the most. So I would probably give away Pinkie Pie at some point and then replace it with Fluttershy. So what I tend to do with my collecting now anyway, and I have been doing, but I think I'm gonna get a little bit more strict on, is getting characters I know I specifically like, right? Like Mao Mao, I know I like Nana, like I know I like Nana just in general, because again, it reminds me of like My Melody and Kuromi, kind of that like, you know, kind of that dynamic or whatever. So that's why I would get figures of that in particular. I would still get some figures maybe for Sailor Moon, but I like Sailor Jupiter specifically, so maybe a figure of that. And I do have, like, for instance, my Mitsuri corner. She's my favorite Hashira, so I have more Mitsuri figures than I do like any other Hashira. It could change, but I'm definitely getting more specific on like actual figures that I want or want to invest my money in. I like Yor, so I have a bunch of Yor figures as well, so I've kind of consolidated that. I'm trying to be more mindful. The next shelf below that, I have a bunch of my Peach Riot Popmart figures, and if you've seen my video about Labubus, you know that I am into Popmart. I think Popmart's cool. I think the Labubu craze, the more that I learn about Kai Sang Lung and his art, the more I think about it, and I'm like, dang, like, if you promoted Labubus the way that you promoted, like, look at his art. His art is amazing, and it looks like it's made for people who have alternative interests. Like, it has that feel to it. Like, you just know it's weird. It's weird enough to be interesting. So it makes me upset that Labubus didn't exactly take off that way, if you know what I mean. So that kind of sucks. But the three things that I'm into from Popmart in general is Crybabies, Labubus to an extent, and then also Peach Riot. Peach Riot is the main one that I like, and it's this band of 3 girls, Gigi, Poppy, and Frankie. And oh my gosh, let me forget my black girl, my black queen, but I love all 3 of them. They're really cool. I think they're really cool characters. They're a band, they're in a band together, and they're teen girls, and I believe the artist Libby Frame actually makes music for them, and I listen to their music unironically. Okay, like, if you think it's corny, get out my face. I think I like it. I think it's cool, and I really like their style. And again, most of the things kind of that I collect, I see a little bit of myself in. I will say that. If there's one thing about my collection, you will see a lot of myself and my own personality in that stuff. So maybe like to get like 1 or 2 ones that I haven't gotten yet, but I think so far my collection is, I like looking at it, and I think it's fine the way it is right now. I don't really have a desire to go get a blind box right now or anything. One of the bigger figures, a lot more money, obviously. The big Poppy in the back, even though I really like her, super expensive. In terms of my figure collecting and how much I'm willing to spend, is obviously like a lot. I just really think it depends on if you really like it or not. And I don't plan on giving any of this stuff away, obviously. And obviously, I'm not willing to spend $200+ on Pokemon cards. Like, that's, for me, that's cardboard, okay? You could argue the same with figures and whatnot, but again, I feel like with all collectors, you kind of set your own limit on like what you're willing to spend on stuff. For me, Pokemon cards, I'm like, I ain't spending no more, okay? But with figures, I definitely have a lot more leeway, so try not to judge me, whatever. I do have one secret in the back that I was able to get, which I thought was really cool. Shelf right beside it. Like I said before, I am a little bit of a crafty person. I like making art. I like making things. And what better way to do that than working with a little bit of resin? I like Miniverse. I tend to take breaks with it a little bit, and they've been doing like a lot of collabs. Like I know there's like mini brands and like whatnot else. Like I take breaks kind of in between when I get them, because sometimes I'm like, do I need to get every single release? Why don't I just buy the ones, again, I want outright? The ones that I know I'm super interested in, obviously, were the Sanrio ones, so I got a couple of those. I don't know what it is about like getting like mini foods and whatnot. I feel like part of me, the reason I'm into it is because growing up I used to watch like people unbox things called remint sets, and it was like filled with like mini foods and like things of that nature. Like I believe it's a company in Japan that just makes mini versions of like the food, like food brands in Japan, and people would collect them and like put them on their shelves, and it was like cute little trinkets. It's trinkets basically, and I thought it was really entertaining to watch as a kid. So I think that's mainly where my interest in making those kinds of things comes from. I don't think it just came out of like nowhere or whatever. If you want like a more in-depth thing about that, I can do that, but I don't imagine too many people are into mini brands. Unless you are, let me know. Now we're moving on to what I feel like is my most interesting shelf, which is basically all of my video games and my entire collection of them. I was not lying when I said I pretty much grew up on Nintendo games. That's all I had. Like, it was either like my siblings that had like Xbox, PlayStation, all other games you can think of, even like PC gaming at some points, or like my cousins that had that kind of stuff. I didn't have that. What I personally had was Nintendo, just because that was the cheapest that my family could afford, and it's, you know, family friendly. So that's pretty much what I had, and all of my other knowledge kind of came from like YouTube, and again, like playing with my family and all these other things. So like I said, grew up on pretty much Nintendo, so most of what you are going to see, not even most, all of what you're going to see on this shelf is Nintendo related. Sorry PS5 lovers and like, you know, not PS5, PlayStation lovers and like Xbox lovers. I didn't grow up that way, okay? But, you know, I only have a Switch, okay? I don't have a Switch 2. Don't go lurking anywhere. I don't have one. I don't need one. And I don't play my Switch enough to like even warrant getting a Switch 2. Like, it's not in the cards, and I think that's like my least favorite console from Nintendo. Not gonna lie, sorry. Maybe if I had the other older consoles, like the beginning ones, like I could judge more harshly. I don't have much of a nostalgia tie with the Switch, really. My nostalgia tie comes with the 3DS, the DS, and the DSi, and the Wii. Those are all of that's where my heart is tied to. So as you can see, I have like pretty much all of my 3DS games, I think all in order of how I got them. What are some other ones that I got? I have Rune Factory, I have Harvest Moon, I have Animal Crossing New Leaf, obviously, Happy Home Designer. I've got Tomodachi Life. I have Tomodachi Life there. I have Pokemon X. I don't have Y. I have Pokemon X. Some other ones, I don't know. I don't feel like going through the shelf. But pretty much all of my 3DS games that I grew up with, I have on this shelf. And one hobby that I've been getting into recently, just to like, again, like I obviously know that gaming is going to move on with me, whether or not I buy the Switch 2 or not, like, which again, I'm not going to do, but like gaming is going to move forward and keep innovating and whatnot. But one pastime, like, people have like said, like, what are you doing kind of like during this time? And here's my thing is I'm a cozy gamer, okay? Like, I'm not like I'm not playing blood and gore shit, okay? Like, not like that anyway. So for me, I feel like my gaming choice is a little bit more particular. So I don't think everybody's gonna like my particular choice of games, or like I'm not catching up with like crazy amounts of like every game that comes out, I'm not gonna need it, right? Because I'm more of a cozy gamer. So every game that comes out, I'm not gonna need it. So what I've been doing, kind of my pastime, is collecting all of the old DS games that I have emulated physically, because I am getting more and more increasingly concerned about the fact that I'm not owning my physical games. And I know that kind of pretty much ended when we entered the Switch era, okay? So the 3DS era, maybe with the exception of like a couple of games, most of them, I'm pretty sure you can get the files off of those games. Switch, we're starting to tread into muddy waters. So one thing I am starting to see the importance of is owning your media, right? Owning the things that you have, like whether it's DVDs, even music to an extent. Remember when we just used to buy songs outright and we used to own it and play it all that we want, right? Now we're not even owning that. We got Spotify, right? And Apple Music, which I'm pretty sure, I don't know if you can even own those songs anymore, pretty much. So, yeah, we're in the era of digital, and as much as I saw the benefit in it at first, now it's not really giving. So, I think I want to start collecting like physical copies of those games, even the ones I've emulated, and you know, emulation is pretty much forever. So, I have been just kind of collecting like all physical copies of my old DS games and whatnot else. I recently got my hands on Pokemon White for a way cheaper than what it is market price right now. So I've been challenging myself as well to stay within a certain price range when getting these older DS games, and stay within what it was marked as when it was first being sold, or maybe like $10-$20 up. So that's kind of what I've been leaning towards, at least. But Pokemon White, I got a really good deal on that. Oh my goodness, I love it so much. But that's been kind of my pastime, is getting all those physical games back. I got Animal Crossing Wild World 2 copies. Didn't need the second copy. I might give it up at some point, but I don't know. And then like trying to get a lot of the games that I didn't think were like rare, or rare physical copy anyway, like Trauma Center, Under the Knife 2? Trauma Center Under the Knife 2? I don't remember if it's 2 or not, but that specific game like is running up in like the 60s and like hundreds. I was like, that's insane. Tomodachi Life is one of those games too. What else is like running up amok? One of my favorite games of all time, my favorite cozy game, Dragon Quest Rocket Slime. I'm sorry. That is like one of my favorite games. I love it so much. I will probably do a video on it at some point, but one of my favorite cozy games of all time. That game is like running amok too. So I was able to get that for a really good price too. So that's been like my little gaming hobby. And I've been playing my 3DS a lot more than my Switch, which is why I haven't finished Cult of the Lamb. So, you know, once I get into like one particular game, I'm playing that all the time. Like, I've been really into like Style Savvy lately. Trendsetters in particular, and I'll get Styling Star at some point. I'll try to emulate that, but it's been really fun trying to collect like these physical copies, and that's been a way that I've been really challenging myself. So I don't know, I think it's pretty fun. And then I also have like a couple of figures here. I love Kirby. Grew up with Kirby. You can't tell me nothing about Kirby. I love myself a little Kirby figure once in a blue moon. So I have my little Kirby corner that consists of my little Kirby figures, and I think it's super cute. Still haven't played, I forgot what it's called. Forgotten Land. I have it. Haven't played it yet. We'll get to it. See, and I have a bunch of games I need to play anyway. I don't need to be buying no like extremely new games or anything like that, right? I have my Animal Crossing corner, and then I also have a couple of Tamagotchis. I do like Tamagotchi. I didn't play it. I wanted a Tamagotchi growing up as a kid, but my parents always said no, my mom in specific. And I remember one Christmas, I told my dad, I was like, I remember I wanted a Tamagotchi growing up. And it was like one of the digital ones, like one of the more like fancy ones, like in color and everything like that, not like one of the little pixelated ones. He got me it. I thought it was like a funny joke. He actually got me it, and I was super happy. And I played out Tamagotchi. It's fun. I really like it. So I have 4 different Tamagotchis, which you know, I think it's pretty cool. And I think that's pretty much all else that's on my shelf. I have a couple of Wii games, 2 of them physical copy. I could probably collect those too, but I don't really play the Wii too much anymore. And then I have like my Princess Peach figure, and then what else do I have? I have like little keychains and whatnot from a lot of the other games that I have on this shelf. Pretty much on this shelf, all I have is my manga collection that I've, again, had over time. When I was a kid, I used to be really into fairy tale, and I read up maybe to book 8, and then I don't know what happened, okay? So don't get on me for that manga readage, but like, you know, I really liked it as a kid, and I just kind of stopped. I don't really know what happened, but my more recent ones are like Chainsaw Man, Spy X Family, obviously Corey Kenshin's mangas. I still need to read them. Don't get on me, but I've had them, which I will definitely get into at some point. I have Fluffy Cinnamon Roll because I grew up with that, and my first manga I ever read was Leave It to Pet, which is a really crappy, like, recycling manga. I don't think very many people liked it, but I did, and that was my first manga. I saw it in the library and I wanted it, so that's what I got. And it still holds a little bit of a place in my heart, so I like it. And then in front of my collection right here, I have 2 little anime figures that could not fit on the top shelf. So it's Elisa and Ayano, and of course, you know, those are my 2 favorite gym leaders. The front of my fridge, which you obviously guys see in most of my videos, is consistent of a lot of the media that I've already went over in this video. Sonic, Animal Crossing, you know, anime, a bunch of stuff. I like Dandadan, so that's on here. I have some corny fridge magnets on here as well. So I think it gives my fridge personality. Throughout my room, you're gonna see a bunch of posters. I have a Hello Kitty poster. I have a Bidoof poster, which maybe I'll show a picture of. I've played Guilty Gear only once, so don't get on me, but I do like the character Abba with her little key weapon. I do like that. I don't know. I think the relationship is cute. So I have a poster of them as well. I have a Kirby's Epic Yarn poster because that is my favorite Kirby game ever. Kirby's Epic Yarn. It needs a sequel. I do not care. Fight with your mother. Anyway, this tapestry that a lot of people compliment me on. Thank you. Thank you so much. Sailor Moon playing the little Game Boy. I got it from Amazon. Everyone always asks me this. Amazon special. That's where I got it from. So I've used it throughout college too. I think like I just like hung up the tapestry and everything. So it's been pretty cool. Got some Hello Kitty hooks on the wall that holds all of my belts and my lanyards and whatnot else. All the little things I like to attach to myself or whatever. Let me think what else in terms of posters. Oh, I like the band Caravan of Palace. I like this genre of music called electro swing. You'll come to understand that I have like a very, my taste in music is like, I feel like everything. It literally is everything, even country, okay? Even a little bit of country songs might get me. But electro swing is one of those genres that I come back to time and time again. Loved it ever since I was in middle school. And I got to see Caravan of Palace this year actually, so it was like super fun. Any Tyler the Creator fans out there? I like Tyler the Creator a lot, but listened to him since high school. Love Tyler the Creator. Got to go on the Chromacopia tour. Super fun. I loved it a lot. Like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy. I got my hoodie and I got my shirt. Like, I was full set. Like, that was honestly the best Christmas gift ever. That's at least when I redeemed it. So I redeemed it this year. So, you know, that was a lot of fun. I have a Yora poster that got signed by the voice actor of Yora. So super cool. Really like it. What else can I think of? A lot of Sanrio posters. Some of the paintings that I have up on my wall are from when I had my dorm. And I made it specifically for like when I like moved into my dorm and everything like that in college. So I just hung them up on the wall because I don't want to get rid of them. I feel like that's a waste or whatever. Like, and it still represents me and things like that, and kind of reminds me of that time. So I still have them up and whatnot else. So I'm just gonna flash some of them on the screen. One of them I have behind my desk actually is Corona, and I hung it up on my bathroom, and I like it was like a quote from his, and I thought it would be cute to put in my bathroom because it's talking about dark circles, and I was like, oh, bathroom, skincare, taking care of yourself. Like, I don't like the dark circles. Like, I thought it was fun. I thought it was cute. A little corny, but I thought it was cute to put. Again, I'm pretty sure I have a lot more stuff that I could talk about, but I'm just not in the business of like maybe like showing every single thing or whatever. But I hope this kind of gives you a little bit of a synopsis of like what I have around my room and like basically like parts of me and stuff like that. I feel like you know, even though these are like material goods, and I never want to come off like as like a materialistic person, because at the end of the day, we all meet the same fate, right? We're gonna die and we're not gonna hold on to any of this stuff, right? I still feel like a lot of the stuff that I get, or at least the way that I collect, is like things that kind of represent me, or things that I've like experienced in my life or went through, or just like, you know, things that I love a lot. And it's a part of me, you know. I feel like even looking at certain different parts of my room is like seeing a part of you. And I don't know, this is a part of me. So yeah, I could go over like a little bit of like my fashion, because I've been trying to, you know, get a little bit more into that, especially with doing like Gyaru fashion. Like I've been picking up a couple of pieces, thrifting a couple of pieces here and there. So that's been really fun. If you want a video on that, I can do that. I have a lot of jewelry too. I could show off some of my jewelry, like, you know. I have a lot, yeah. There's more to talk about, but I want to keep it. I already feel like I'm kind of exposing myself a lot. You know, I don't want my stuff to become like the centerpiece of like this channel and everything like that, even though we do talk about it. Like, I don't want it to become like materialistic or make it seem like I like, you know, I don't know. I feel kind of icky doing that. So, but it's been pretty cool in this video talking about a lot of this stuff. Hopefully you see a little bit more of my personality. I'm a weirdo, I'm a nerd, and I probably have a problem. So this is me kind of being like more raw, and it was fun kind of making this video. So if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I'm not sure if I'm going to cut this into 2 parts. Hopefully I don't have to. Before I officially end this video, I just wanted to cut to a clip that I recorded earlier in the week. I was planning on recording this entire video that day, but it didn't happen. So I just want to play this clip really quick. I wanted to say thank you guys so much to the people who watched my last video regarding Ash. I didn't expect the reception that it got. I honestly didn't even expect it to break 1,000 views, but it got to that point, which makes me extremely happy. That was my goal, at least for it to reach that many people. It's a really tough subject to talk about, but I will always take the opportunity to talk about it because it's my community, and it's our community. Really means a lot to me. Everybody was super kind, super just very supportive comment section. Like, I wasn't expecting that at all. So it just genuinely means a lot to me. I'm sorry if I don't have the exact right words to say it, but it means a lot to me. Like I said before in the video, all the revenue that's generated from that video is going to get donated, and I will post on my community tab, just for transparency's sake, all the receipts of what I donated. And obviously in the future I want to talk about this kind of stuff more, and I will continue to donate to that fund, because what has happened to Ash is just tragic, and I don't want it to take the death of somebody for us to start talking about these things and to start caring about these things. It needs to be an ongoing thing. So I'll continue to talk about it. I'm going to continue to say what I got to say on this page regarding racism and bigotry in the anime, cosplay, and gaming space. Doesn't matter. So with that being said, I just want to say thank you guys so much for being super duper kind. It really means a lot to me. But with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching and making it to the end of this video. Tell me what you think. Did you like it? Did you not? Is there anything else you want to see or want me to go more in depth on? I can definitely do it. I know that I haven't uploaded in 3 weeks. I do apologize. Again, I'm human. I don't have an excuse other than work, stress, and school, and that's about it. I do apologize, and again, got no reason why about it. That's just kind of what it's been. But my stress has died back down, so I'm going to try to get back into weekly uploads. I don't know if this is going to be the last video I upload in 2025, because it's the new year basically. But if it is, I just want to say, or even before Christmas time, I will say, I just want to say happy holidays, whatever you decide to celebrate. I hope you guys are having a good Christmas, a good Kwanzaa, a good Hanukkah, whatever you had. Like, I hope it's the best, and I hope you guys have a happy new year. Again, if this isn't the last video I upload, which hopefully it's not. And I also wanted to say thank you guys so much for 8,000 subs. This is kind of crazy, because around this time last year in 2024, I started re-uploading on this channel, and now we're at 8,000 subs, and it's 2025 in December. So it's kind of insane to think about. I never thought that like anybody would want to listen to me yap. I thought it was crazy when 100 or even 10 people wanted to listen to me talk about this stuff, right? Or just like whatever is like on my heart. And that's kind of been like the preface, like that's always what I wanted this channel to be, is just saying I have a lot to say, and we talk a lot, and that's kind of the purpose of this channel. And it's things I care about, whether it's gaming, whether it's collecting, whether it's talking about fandoms or media, or like things going on, social things, or just my world, I guess. Like, you know, it's been really fun having people be that interested. And what I have to say, it's amazing. And you guys are all super nice. Like, oh my gosh, like I read pretty much all of my comments. Like, you guys are amazing. You guys are really very, very sweet. And I hope I've gotten to each and every single one of you at some point in time. But if I haven't, thank you. I've seen your comment, even the negative ones. So like, I appreciate it. Like, you know, I'm not a perfect human being, obviously. And I try to be as transparent as I can be in this video. I got, you know, I don't want to ever think I'm like above certain things and stuff like that. Like, this channel has been fun. This channel has been fun. Is fun. Okay, we're not ending it anytime soon, but it's been really fun. So I just want to say, like, thank you guys. Never would have thought within a year we were gonna be here. So, really makes me happy. Thank you. So with that being said, tell somebody you love them today, because tomorrow is not promised to us. And thank you guys again for 8,000 and listening to me talk about whatever, because all I like to do is have fun here. So thank you guys so much, and I will see you guys hopefully before the new year. But if I don't, I'll see you guys in 2026.